Oh, I gotta change my video background. Oh, is it here? Yeah, here we go. All righty. Got my snazzy new broker office hours background. All right. We got a recording going. So this is January 30th, Tuesday, new broker office hours. I want to first open it up to questions from our people. Who is iPhone? Can we rename you so we know who you are? Who's iPhone? I see you're unmuted, but I don't hear you.
She said she can't hear you.
Oh. Everybody else can hear me, right? Well, can you type it for me? Who is this? Who's iPhone? We'll change your name and get you in. Who is iPhone? Connecting to audio, okay. Yeah, you all have to agree to be on video and you have to agree to join by audio. Did you do that, iPhone? I can't, I don't know why you can't hear me. Tina, you can hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know why iPhone can't hear me. Okay, it's Teresa. Okay. Rename. Okay, now we know who that is. Okay, got it. All right, well, welcome everybody. Sorry for that hiccup as we get started. This is January 30th, broker office hours. So Tina has some deals she's working on, very exciting, getting her first deals under contract and in escrow and going, and Amy and she are working together. Tina, do you have anything that you want to bring up that you want help with it from me or the group, or share, or tell us how things are going?
I have an appraisal that's come in at 53,000 under.
That's highly unusual, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so the listing agent has asked to get in contact with lender in order to get in contact with appraiser. How do I arrange that?
Okay, so you probably can't have direct contact with the appraiser unless you happen to be contacted by them, but you can reach out to the lender and ask the lender to intercede here and see what they can do to adjust the appraisal, let you see a copy of it so you can look at the comps and maybe make suggestions of different comps. Have you tried those things?
No, I just got the email this morning with making that request. I needed to know how to handle it.
Okay, yeah. So you're allowed to interact with the appraiser, but you're not allowed to tell them what their price should be. And same with the lender. You can't tell them, well, we need this to come at 325 or our deal's dead. They're like, not my problem. And that becomes an illegal act when you tell them what they're supposed to do. So you can just say, I see you used these 3 comps. Could I suggest these other comps that I found that actually seem like a better comp? And they can say yes or no to that. But you can suggest comps that are more appropriate.
So is the listing agent allowed to talk to the...
Yeah. Not directly, but they can go through, there is an appeal process. And I've never been able to have any success with that, but there is supposedly an appeal process. So you could talk to the lender and say, can we appeal this? Or what can we do? Anything we can do to help this value come in a little closer? Or can they explain why it's not coming in? Was there some square footage that got counted that shouldn't have been counted? That's the number one reason it might not be comping right. Is there some unheated space that they said, nope, we can't count that the original agent thought could count when they wrote up how many square feet is in the property? If it's bad comps, then take a look and see if you can find some other appropriate comps to suggest. They're allowed to, you're allowed to make an appeal and suggest other comps, or, show them, well, this space is heated and here's the heat source. And maybe they made a mistake or misunderstood. So I'd dig into it and have the lender help you with that, because that is really far off.
Well, and the funny thing is on this one, Camille, is the comps are much closer to the purchase price. So I think it's just going to be some explanation that we need.
Yeah,
from
we
the
need an explanation. Right. It must have to do with square footage or something.
So it's as simple as sending an email to the lender asking
Yeah.
them to get me in contact with the appraiser.
Well, you can ask them to do that, but you could ask them, you ask them, what is your process for investigating this? This is really far off. Can we find out why? What can we do to find out why? And dig into it. Have the lender help you dig into it and find out why did they change the square footage, or did they not count some heated square feet that should have been counted? Or
Do I CC the listing agent in that email?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
No. But I wouldn't just walk away and accept it. I would try to find out why. Now, maybe there's a good reason it's priced at this appraisal number that you can use to advocate to get a better price for your buyer. That they didn't count the right square footage in the first place, or whatever it might be, but you got to dig into it and find out why.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Tina, if you want afterwards, give me a call and I can help you write that email.
Thank you.
Okay,
Amy,
good.
your lifesaver.
Okay. Anybody else got anything they're working on they need a little help with or input on?
I have another listing agent who is non-responsive. She initially wasn't very responsive, but then we found out that she was in the hospital. She had an eye condition and it started affecting her brain. And so she was in the hospital. She's gotten out since. She seems to have been doing better, but Amy nor I can reach her. And
Okay.
we
Go
need
to her managing broker.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to reach her one more time.
Yeah.
And see, because I know
How
she
long has
has
it
been
been
having
since she
issues.
responded to anything?
Days.
Yeah, go to her managing broker. We're done waiting for her to respond. Go to her managing broker and find out what's going on, and see if the managing broker can either step in or assign a different agent to help this deal move along. Time to go to the
Okay.
QP. And of course, you
Okay,
want to be
that's what Amy
respectful
suggested.
and just
Yeah, let's
explain.
talk about that one too afterwards, Tina.
Yeah. You want
Okay,
to be
thank you, Amy.
respectful, and you want to let them know, hey, I've been trying, I know she's having health problems. I've been trying to reach her and she's not responding. Can you help me? And you CC
Yeah,
me
the
on it
reason,
too.
okay, I will, because we have objections that are coming due, and
Mhm.
3 of them, one was a leak, termite, active termites, and mold. And it's a
Yeah,
VA loan, so it has to be
yeah,
taken
all
care
that
of.
has
And
to
she
be
said she was
addressed.
gonna, yeah, she said
Yeah,
she was gonna get her inspector in, and it was gonna be a wraparound invoice for
yeah.
all 3, and I haven't heard back from her.
Yeah, so it's time to reach out to the QB and CC me. When you bring in a QB on a deal from the other side, you mean to make sure I know what's going on, because they don't like it when you jump over heads to,
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
yeah. But if I'm involved, they'll be okay with that, as long as they know I know what's going on. And you could CC her too, and so she knows you went to her QB and asked for help. And you ask, you're not, you want to ask politely and kindly, hey, I know she's going through a hard time. I need to move my deal forward. Can you or somebody in the office cover for her or help us by getting some of these things handled? Because we're,
Yeah, we'll structure it to show concern for her and that
yeah,
she may need some help.
exactly. Okay, good. All right, anything else?
I have another deal with a seller for the for a cash deal. They are starting to work on getting the septic taken care of, but the
Okay.
seller's been really hard to deal with this whole time. Even the listing agent is a little frustrated.
That happens. Yep. Okay. So that sounds like that's getting resolved. It's just a little bit frustrating.
Yes, so
Yeah.
far, so it's just snail and moving at a glacier's pace.
Yeah. Okay, well, now we have a few more people joining us. I want to hear from everybody. Check in with me a little bit about how you're doing, momentum and motivation on a scale of 1 to 5. What's your motivation and your momentum? Sergio? Motivation and momentum on a scale of 1 to 5. Can I unmute? Or you can type it in the chat for me too.
Hello.
Hi, Serge.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm doing 5 and 5.
Good. Glad to hear it. You've been coming to things too. I love it.
Yep.
Good. Norma, motivation and momentum on a scale of 1 to 5.
I think a 4.5.
Okay. Good. That's pretty good. All right, Teresa. I don't know which, we have 2 Teresas in our office. I don't know which one I have here.
You have Teresa Arias, the non-existent broker.
Welcome.
So motivation is probably -1, and the same on the other, only because, Camille, I have such a demanding day job that as much as I would love to focus on my real estate stuff, it's just really difficult. But I do have my listing, my own land up on Row Mesa, and we want to do a real estate contract, and I don't know, I've never done a real estate contract where we carry it.
Yep.
With the, so I mean, can we talk about this offline, and can
Yeah.
I maybe get some advice or how I can write this up?
Yep. And that would make a good topic for a future broker office hour. So, and there's some
Okay.
training, there's some training that GAR has done or has on available. I think they have a course coming up on RECs.
Mhm.
And so that would be a good one for anybody to do, because those are kind of tricky. And you want to make sure you do it right. It's
Yeah.
very important. There's a lot of, it's the interest rate, the terms, what does the, what is fair and reasonable, and what happens if you mess up?
Right. And then so what I'm also going to do is I'm going to list his cabin up in Pecos. It's off the grid. And we
Okay.
want to put a contingency in there that once that cabin sells, that he will pay this note off, this contract off.
Okay.
So, and because I don't do this every day, it's really challenging for me, and it's almost disheartening because I don't like doing things halfway, and that's how I've been in this relationship with HomeSmart, but it's just my reality right now.
Okay, well, I will help you, and maybe we'll record it and use it as a teaching episode for another topic. It's really
Okay.
important to get those right, and we don't do those every day.
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah.
And,
Cool.
and
All
the
right, we can
sticky
talk
thing
about
is, the sticky thing is it's my own property. So,
yeah, even more important to get it right.
well, it's important no matter what, but it's almost like, because it's mine, I don't feel as obligated to somebody else that I think I would do even better with, but I'm just kind of willy-nilly, and I've got to not do that. So,
And here's
if I
the
could
other
get with
thing.
you. Mhm.
I don't want our brokers, any of our brokers, representing both sides on a deal where they own the property.
So in this case, owner broker, and we have the person who wants to buy it.
Right. So are they an owner broker of their own real estate company? No.
Nope.
And they don't have a realtor.
No.
Okay, we need to get them a realtor.
Okay.
Because it's too much of a conflict of interest for you to help him and yourself.
Okay. So if I refer this to another broker, that other broker would write up the real estate contract, or would I?
Yep, they do it. You can give it to Yvonne. She'll
Oh.
probably know how to do it.
I will. I'll get with her then.
Yeah.
And
You can
see if
help
she'll
him on
do
the
that.
cabin, but you can't sell him your property and represent him in the process.
Okay.
That's
All
a
right,
rule
I
for
will do that.
everybody in the office. And
Yeah, okay.
but let Yvonne get involved to help. And then when it's time to sell the cabin, then you can help him.
Yeah, I can list that one. Okay,
Yeah. Mhm.
all right.
All
Okay,
right,
so
or
do I,
maybe
do you
even do
think,
it together because, well, you're in the Smart Start, so you'll be working with me.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then, so would I list the cabin before we do the real estate contract because of the contingency that'll be in there?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. All right. I will get that done then, and then I'll get with Yvonne.
Okay, so I'll need to help you because I know you don't really know what you're doing yet. And so we'll work together on it, okay? This year,
Yeah, it's just,
this is your first deal. So,
It-
yeah, you're gonna
it
need some
is,
help.
and it's a sticky one because,
Yes,
yeah, it's not just normal day-to-day kind of stuff. And I think once I get through these two things, I think I'll feel better about and more confident about what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
it
So,
takes about 4 to 6 deals to sort of get a clue. And then another 2 or 3 years to start to feel like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing now.
so by the time I retire from here, I should know what I'm doing, maybe.
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It really does take time because every deal's different. The people are different, the lending conditions are different, the property is different, the financing is different, the title company is different, everything's different on every deal. And it takes a little
Yes.
while of doing some deals before you sort of feel like, okay, I think I know what to do now.
Which
Believe me.
boxes to check? Okay.
Yeah, or
Right.
what to do when something new comes up. By then you have a few skills developed that you can use to think for yourself.
Okay.
And I am always
Okay.
here. I want you guys always to know that if you don't know what to do, reach out. I'm here to help.
Okay.
And you
I
can
definitely
email me,
will.
text me, call me whenever you're stuck and not sure what to do. That's what I'm here for. And
Okay.
I want to help you guys do your best and be your best and, try to do it without the other side even knowing you're having issues and problems and don't know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, no, nobody knows that part.
So reach out to
So,
me before they do to say, your broker is doing a terrible job.
yeah, I will.
Okay?
Okay. All right.
I
Okay.
want to help you guys avoid that.
Okay.
All right, I'm
Awesome.
going to make a note here that Teresa needs help on REC and land and the cabin listing, and we'll talk later.
Okay.
All right, well, let's move on then. So I have a
Okay.
topic for
Thank you.
us. Let's go to share screen. I got to figure out what's on my screen first, so I make sure I'm not putting something I didn't want up there. Let's see, we'll put that one away, email, calendar, this one away, and there we go. Okay. Slideshow. Okay, oops, I got to get out of that. I got to get ready to show my screen. We're ready to show screen now. Okay, here we go. Oops. All right, where did that go? Here we go, slideshow. Okay, well, today we're going to talk about tax time because it's coming up. 1099s just went out, and pretty soon it's going to be time to start thinking about preparing taxes. And new agents have a lot of questions about taxes. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Or lunchtime. It's actually lunchtime. Okay. So how are you keeping track of your deductions and your income? Sergio, you have some experience with this. How do you keep track of your deductions and income? Are you using an Excel spreadsheet, QuickBooks, or some other accounting software, or any apps in your phone?
I use QuickBooks.
QuickBooks, good. All right, and desktop version?
Yes.
Okay. Norma, what do you do for bookkeeping?
I use a spreadsheet.
You have a spreadsheet, an Excel, okay.
Yes.
And Norma has a couple businesses, so she's got more going on. It might be time for you to think about getting into QuickBooks. It's okay to start out in Excel. I started out in Excel, but I have been self-employed since about 2002, and I've been using QuickBooks since about then. And, you know, at first I did it in an Excel spreadsheet and keep track of all the things I spent on my business and all the income I earned on a separate, you know, 2 different sheets in the same workbook. And that was fine for a while. And then things started to get more complicated. And so then moving over to QuickBooks made more sense, because then I could pull reports. I could see my profit and loss and balance statement with a glance. I could keep my check register in the same place as my other accounting, and it all just kind of flowed together better in QuickBooks. There's other software out there, but QuickBooks really is the best. If you're starting out, I recommend the desktop version. You don't need QuickBooks Online just starting out. I have QuickBooks Online because I have a bookkeeper, an accountant, and Phyllis and me all in the books. And because of that, I can't do it any other way but QuickBooks Online, because I have different people from different computers needing to get into the file. But if it's just you and your laptop, QuickBooks Desktop works great. And it has a little bit of a learning curve, but there is training available to show you how to use the different tools in there. So do something though. You need to keep track of your business expenses and your income. And so be organized and ready for tax time. All right. I spend December, January going through the books, checking my profit and loss, checking all the expenses, and, you know, documenting, making sure that everything's jiving. My business is really a lot more complicated than yours, but as an agent, I would spend, you know, make sure all that my credit cards and bank accounts were reconciled, and all expenses that I could come up with were accounted for properly. Okay. There are phone apps too that you can use. And, you know, if you like working in your phone, you can use that. There's several different versions. The QuickBooks version for your phone, you would also have to have, that would probably be the online version, I think. So you probably don't want to do that one. But once you have desktop, I think you might be able to sync the QuickBooks desktop app with an app in your phone. I'm not sure though. I know QuickBooks Online can, but I'm not sure about the desktop. Sergio, do you know about that?
I use, let's see, I use like a QuickBooks self-employed app
Yep.
on my phone.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
and same here, I have like a couple other businesses also that I kind of like have to have different categories as well. So
Right. You can keep track of them separately.
yeah.
Okay, so the point is here, get organized, find an app to help you, and get your stuff in there. I just sent out 1099s on Saturday. You should have them in a day or two. And they're coming by email and by phone. That'll give you the bulk number of your income through HomeSmart. And I also sent with the email I sent out on Saturday, here's what's included in that number, and here's what's not included that you need to add in your tax return as a write-off. So that I just explained all that in that email. So if you're not sure, or you don't understand what I wrote, please ask me. Okay, I'll explain it to you. Okay, then, do you know what expenses are deductible? Does anybody have an idea of what you can write off and what you can't? Anybody want to chime in on some things that they write off on their taxes? Feel free to unmute.
Education,
Education's a write-off,
education.
that's right.
Miles,
Miles, yeah,
Business.
very important.
work lunches,
Work lunches, yep, you can write those off.
open house signs,
Yep,
the marketing material, Facebook ads,
business
Um,
cards, yeah.
what else have we? All any material you get for your open houses,
Mhm.
if you provide foods and snacks,
Yep.
um,
Your computer, your cell phone, your
computer, your
board
cell
dues,
phone.
your MLS dues, your costs to keep your license. All of those
If you
are
have
write-offs.
like an office, if you have like an office in your house,
Mm-hmm.
also you tell your accountant how much of the percentage of the house you use for office purposes.
Yep. Yep. And you get to write off all of the related expenses, the utility bills, your internet bill, all as a percentage of, so 10% of your house is your home office, you can write off 10% of your internet bill, 10% of your electric bill, etc. Yeah. And it should be your primary place of business. I can't write off a home office because I have an office to come to. I might be able to because I'm an employee, but I'm not sure about that. I actually should ask about that because I do have a home office. All right, has anybody ever filled out a Schedule C before? I bet Sergio and Norma have. Yeah. Schedule
Yes.
C, yep. Schedule C is for a sole proprietor or an LLC with a single member. And you may or may not have your own employer identification number. You can use your Social Security as a sole proprietor or even as an LLC, but usually as an LLC, you'd want to have an employer identification number. I think that's kind of a requirement once you go to an LLC. But that would be Schedule C. Then once you incorporate as an S Corp, and I recommend you don't do that until you're making consistently at least $75,000 to $80,000 a year gross commissions, then it might make sense. But until then, just stay as a single sole proprietor or an LLC, single member LLC. You don't even need to be an LLC to do real estate. A lot of people think, they get told that in real estate school, you're going to need an LLC. And before they've sold a single house, they've created an LLC. You don't need to. You're not going to lose your house over a deal that goes south because we have E&O insurance. It's going to cover that for you. You're not going to get sued and lose your house. If you have multiple properties, I know Sergio and Norma probably have extra other properties and businesses, then it might make sense to go ahead and make an LLC. But if all your only business is selling real estate, go ahead and stay as a single proprietor, sole proprietor for as long as you can. And then when you have other assets that need to be protected and isolated, then it makes sense to become an LLC. Till then, don't bother. Okay. So another question would be, should you do your own taxes? Anybody comfortable doing their own taxes?
I don't do my own taxes. It's too much of a mission.
Hang on a second. Somebody is at the door. I think I need to go get the door. I'm going to pause. Oops. I'm going to pause the recording. That's what I want to pause. I can figure out how to do that. Pause recording. Okay. Oops. I lost it. Hang on. Pause recording. Zoom recording. Okay. Perfect. All right. So, oops. I went backwards. I didn't mean to go this far. Something happened there. Okay. I actually have started doing my own taxes. As a sole proprietor, I did my own taxes for quite a while. And then once I turned into an S Corp, that's when I hired a professional to do my taxes. There's TurboTax, there's TaxAct. I now use TaxAct. I like it much better than TurboTax. And it's really not that hard to do your own taxes in TaxAct. So, you know, you can try it for free. It'll let you start the process. If you find it's overwhelming and you don't know what to do, you can hire them to finish it for you, or you can find a local tax professional. But I have not had a good luck hiring tax professionals to help me. I have been through 4 accountants here in New Mexico, and shoot, okay. Let's see here. What happened? Am I getting through? Can you guys hear me? Somebody let me know if we can hear me.
Yes.
You can. Okay. We've been having a lot of internet issues at the office, and actually somebody's coming this afternoon to check us out and see if what's wrong with our friggin' internet. Okay. All right. So here we go. Back to screen sharing, and we'll carry on. Sorry about that. Okay. So you can give it a try yourself. If you're not doing a good job and you don't want to do it yourself, you can always ask a tax professional to help you. Okay. So that's my tips about doing it yourself. Only if you're an S Corp, really, you shouldn't be doing your own taxes. I say that even though I had ended up having to do my own taxes last year because couldn't find a good CPA to do it for me. I'd be happy to get somebody to do it for me. I haven't found anybody yet. Okay. About saving for taxes, this is very important. On each transaction, you should be setting aside about 25% from each transaction to pay your self-employment taxes. You do have a higher tax bracket as a self-employed person because they add that FICA, FUTA, Medicare, whatever, on top of what you pay as an individual. You pay the employer part too. So it bumps you up 7 or 8%. I'm not sure exactly what the number is for this year, but it's a good chunk. So I want you to hold back at least 25% for taxes. It really sort of also depends on your tax bracket. If you make a buttload of money, you're going to be in a higher tax bracket. It might need to be more. If you're practically at poverty level, you might not have to pay any taxes. And but I always recommend holding back 25% just in case you owe at the end of the year. Sometimes new agents get derailed in their career and start having trouble with Uncle Sam because they didn't save enough money for taxes, okay? I recommend putting it in a dedicated savings account that's just for that. And you know, if you don't need it all at tax time, then you can, you know, use it for something else. I recommend either investing it in retirement account or putting it towards real estate savings account to buy real estate with or something like that. Don't just go spend it on a new car or, you know, taking your family to Disneyland, okay? Put it somewhere good. All right. And I also want you to start saving some money for retirement. As a self-employed person, I can tell you that is the hardest thing ever to do because you're barely making it usually. And having money to set aside for retirement is just impossible. And I can tell you as a self-employed person, many years I failed to put anything in my retirement account. And guess what? I'm 61 years old and I'm really sorry I didn't do that. I really wish I had put more away in savings. So I, again, put a dedicated savings account or put it, you can lump it together with your tax savings account as long as you earmark it and you don't spend it. But you can put it there and set up auto payments or make it just like off the top. Pay yourself first off the top, 10% is set aside for retirement. If you haven't opened an IRA, do so, okay? That's the simplest way for a self-employed person to put aside some money for the future. And it has tax advantages. There's traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Depending on your tax situation, choose what's best for you. And get an IRA opened and try to contribute to the maximum every single year, okay? Every single year. When you get over 50, you get to put an extra little bit in as makeup. I think it's $1,000. So I'm not sure what the tax amount is for this year, 7,000, 7,500 max for someone at 50 plus. But it has to be opened at least by December 31st, but you could wait to fund it until next April. But go ahead and get an account open so that you have the option to put money into it and start putting money away to start earning dividends and capital gains that can be deferred. Taxation is deferred on that until you retire. And it can be compounding over time. And the younger you are, the more important this is to do. Okay? Just put it in a basic Schwab or Vanguard ETF. And, you know, let them be the custodian for the IRA, but make sure you start an IRA as early as possible in your real estate career and put some money in it. All right, after you save a bunch of money in an IRA, then you can turn it into a self-directed IRA and buy real estate with it, okay? Now, there's a lot of tricks and tips that I'm not going to get into about that, but it is possible to buy real estate with your IRA. And there's whole people who do that as a business to help you with that. Okay. All right. Then make sure and save some money for real estate investing. All right. So if you haven't set aside 10% of each transaction to save it for a down payment and closing costs on buying a rental property, that would be a good way to sock up some money for retirement. And that has different tax advantages. Buying real estate, of course, has different tax advantages than a tax deferred IRA. It's truly the best way to build financial freedom. When I was a newer agent, I worked for a very, very successful broker. It was a little boutique brokerage before I joined HomeSmart. And he was, you know, he constantly had 12 to 15 listings going at any given time. So he's very successful. And he said in a training I went with him under him too, that his one regret was that he didn't set aside money for investing in real estate. He churned out deal after deal after deal, and he never put any aside for retirement in and owning real estate. And he was my age or so when I was under him, maybe not quite, but close to that. And he didn't have any real estate that besides his own house. And so he suggested becoming your own best customer. Okay, and that's a 10% out of each transaction. It'd be a good number to start that little process of owning some rental properties. Okay, all right. Now, I went and Googled tax resources for real estate agents and found this website looked really good. We're going to go take a look at it. So let's see here. Let me get out of this and we'll go take a look at it. It's right here. Oh, and here's the Internal Revenue Service website. I want to let you know they have a ton of resources for self-employed people here. Okay, so you can get answers to tax questions and so forth. You can pull the forms you need. I'd recommend getting a Schedule C. If you've never filled one out, get the form under here, Schedule C. I don't see it on here, but you can write in here a Schedule C. Search, and it'll pull it right up, download that, and it'll get you the instructions for a Schedule C and the Schedule C itself, okay? And so get one of those to look at what categories of income and deductions and so forth does the Schedule C need, okay? And I forget, and this looks like there's different versions of the Schedule C, so you want to make sure you get the right one for your situation. Here it is, there's Spanish version. But the Schedule C that goes with Form 1040, profit or loss from business. Okay, and then get the instructions to go with it so that you know what you're doing. All right, and you can pull that right off their website from the Internal Revenue Service, as well as IRA. Oops, see, I didn't spell it right. That's why it didn't work. IRA information as well. Okay, IRA FAQs. Right here, okay? So get some information about that too. All right, then over here, that's the link to the website that I put in the slide for you. Agent Wealth House, and this particular article, this is an EXP team. We're not going to join EXP somewhere, but this was a really good article. It has a worksheet and a deduction, and a little video on how to use that worksheet. And so there's different information things here, understanding tax deductions for real estate agents. I have the worksheet for you, so don't need to get it from them, but you know how to do that, okay? Different things you can write off and so forth, okay? And then over here, I'm going to email you this. This is just a little checklist of deductions for real estate agents, okay? These are all the things that you can write off. And then down here, the second page is IRS record keeping requirements. What do you need to keep track of and for how long? And how do you document your different expenses and income things? Okay, so this is going to be really helpful. I'm going to email it out to all our newbies. All right, so that's that. And then let's see. I'll get back to my slideshow right here. All right, so that will help you going. Let's see, get back in here. Okay, so go to this link and go read that stuff if you need more help on doing taxes and getting ready for taxes. Okay, and I'll email out the tax checklist too for everybody in the office could probably use that. All right, and then next week we're going to talk about manufactured housing transactions. Norm is going to help me with that one. We're going to learn about the ins and outs, pitfalls, and there are many, and how to have a successful manufactured home transaction. Okay, so any questions or thoughts about the tax topic that we had today? Was this helpful to you? Feel free to unmute anybody.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest thing too that you should definitely automate, because if not, it's gonna be a big headache later. And you're gonna,
Yes,
and if you just do this from the beginning, it's gonna stop headaches. Because
do
I
it
know,
monthly or weekly, not at the end of the year. Right?
yeah, and just automate everything, kind
Yeah,
of streamline everything.
yeah. As you have an expense, as you do your reconciling, as you do your purchases for your business or your mileage, just keep track of everything as it happens. Much better than just going through, shuffling through a shoebox full of receipts at the end of the year. And also, you know, having a business credit card can help you keep track of expenses too. I can get a Capital One, you know, document at the end of the year of everything I spend, and it helps me break down, you know, my business expenses on that. I use QuickBooks, so I don't need that, but if you're not using QuickBooks, that's a helpful tool, is just put everything on a credit card. Get a report. American Express is good for that. Okay, what else? Anybody else have anything to chime in? Anything I should have covered that you know about that would help somebody? Don't be shy. Anything we touched on that you'd like to know more about? You can always write it in the chat. I can see the chat right now. Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Next week, we're going to talk about mobile homes, manufactured housing. And because I got a question from April, one of our other newbies, yesterday, and she says, I got a quick question for you. I want to learn more about mobile homes because I keep getting clients that want to buy one and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, well, that is not a quick question. So we're going to cover it in a topic next week, and I'm working on the information that we need to gather up for that and kind of help you guys along with that. I just went through the mobile home transaction from hell, and I learned a lot doing that transaction. It was an unbelievably difficult transaction, and most mobile home transactions are. So actually, I'd recommend, if you can stay away from them, that's your first choice, but usually we can't avoid them. The buyer you're working with, you really want to help, and it's your job to help, and they are falling in love with a mobile home. So let's learn about how best to handle those. I'm sure Sergio's done a few. I know Norma, that's one of her side businesses, her other businesses dealing with mobile homes. So she's going to help me with that one, and it should be a good session. And with that, I guess I'll wrap it up unless anybody has anything else they want to ask me or bring up. Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate you attending. I hope it was helpful for you, and I'll see you next week.
Bye. Thank you.